Okay, good evening, class. Welcome to our 14th session of our subject ICT 410, 140. I'm sorry, 410. Our topic for this evening is about HTTP and similar protocols. So our objectives are as follows. Number one, discuss the importance of DNS, HTTP and similar protocols, value the importance of HTTP and similar protocols, and understand the basic concepts of HTTP and similar protocols. So first things first, our topic is Hypertext Transfer Protocol or HTTP. For your HTTP, this is an application layer protocol in the Internet Pool Suite model for distributed collaborative hypermedia information system. So HTTP is the foundation date of data communication for the World Wide Web, where hypertext documents include hyperlinks to other resources that the user can easily access. So like for example, the mouse click or by tapping the screen in a web browser. For the technical overview of HTTP, URLs beginning with HTTP scheme and www dot domain label name or domain name labels. This HTTP function as the request response protocol in the client server model. So your web browser, any web browser for that matter, like for example, maybe the client and the process name web server running on the computer hosting one or more websites may be the server. So the client submits an HTTP request message to the server, and the server provides resources such as the HTML files and other content or performs other functions on behalf of the client. It then returns a response message to the client, and that response contains completion status information about the request, and which also contains requested content in its message body. So your web browser is an example of a user agent or the what we call UA. And other types of user agent includes indexing softwares used by the search providers, like for example, your Google, your crawlers, voice browsers, mobile applications, and other software that access, consumes, or displays web content. So to allow intermediate HTTP nodes, these are examples are proxy servers and web caches. The main thing about this is to accomplish their function and some of the headers for HTTP. So this is found on the request responses are managed by hop, and the headers are managed end to end. So for the technical overview, those are the technical overview, guys. I'm sorry. For the data exchange, this is a stateless application level protocol, and it requires a reliable network transport connection to exchange data between the client and server. So, for the implementation of HTTP and TCP/IP or the Transport Control Protocol Internet Protocol connections, these are used using well-known ports, typically port 80, if the connection is encrypted, and port 443. So that is why, guys, like for example, if you have encountered a misconnection within your browser, I think uh, something like port 443 or port 80 is not functioning. So amo day gagwa na. In the earlier days of the internet, it happens, no? Na permi naka-display ang port 80 and port 443 sa web browsers ninyo. But now, according to my research, what's displayed on the web browser is your port 404. Na. So the in HTTP2 on or the what we call the TCP/IP connection plus multiple protocol channels are used, and your HTTP3 is an application transport protocol QU IC plus UDP is used. So these things, your HTTP2 and HTTP3, is being used on our IPv6, IPv6. So which is the third generation of the internet. No? Nowadays, guys, we are now on the fourth generation classification when the expansion of the internet. And most of the time, the fourth generation expansion, it's different from 4G, no? It's different. Lain na siya, yeah. So magamba ka mo yung 4G sa network na yung connections. Magamba ka mo fourth generation internet. This refers to the expansion ang katabo no kay everyday guys. New computers are being linked on the internet and nodes are growing faster no. Do mga mushrooms na lang dasanda nga naga turuhaw. So what happens is that um, in the to manage all of this, they coined a term for the internet expansion, and it's called your fourth generation internet already. So, what countries are experiencing the fourth generation internet? South Korea, the United States, Japan, and in the other European countries, ang mga modernized lang nga European countries. So, ang mga bukid-bukid nga European countries, wala pa na sila naka sa internet, ang fourth generation. Okay, going to our next topic is about encrypted connections. So, for encrypted connections, these are the most popular way of establishing encrypted HTTP connection, mostly for HTTPS. So, take note that if you how are you going to identify a secure network or a secure internet? Mainly on your URL, if it says HTTPS, so it means it is encrypted, no? So if you can see HTTP, it's the normal configuration for hypertext. But if you can see HTTPS, so it's locked already, so it's secured. So the two other methods for establishing an encrypted HTTP connection also exist, no? So the first one is the secure hypertext transfer protocol using HTTP 1.1 and the upgrade header to specify the upgrade to TLS. The other one is the browser support for these two. However, it is nearly non-existent, meaning to say there's no such thing as a backup plan for the browser if it is not using the HTTP file format. That being said, guys, for your activity number 27, so this refers to HTTPS 127. You're going to look for a secure website, produce a screenshot, and copy paste it. So look for HTTPS. Okay. Now we're going to discuss similar protocols. So the first one is the Gopher protocol. So when we speak about Gopher, yeah, this is the communications protocol designed for distributing, searching, and retrieving documents in IP or the Internet Protocol networks. The design of the Gopher protocol and user interface is menu driven and presented an alternative to World Wide Web in easily stages, but ultimately fell into disfavor, yielding to HTTP. So I think Gopher is one of the innovative protocol suites that is being run on the internet. However, since wala siya nag-click, so it goes back to the HTTP protocol. Take note that the Gopher ecosystem is often regarded as the effective predecessor of the World Wide Web. So you can check it out, guys. You can type Gopher protocol on the on Google and see for yourself kung ano yung gawa na. Another one is Speedy or the spelled SPDY. So the Power Ranger nga ano no nga spelling. Speedy is deprecated open specification communications protocol that was developed primarily at Google for transporting web content. So the first generation web content based file assistance for Google is what we call the Speedy. So how does Speedy do? It manipulates HTTP traffic with particular goals of reducing web page load latency. So when we speak about load latency, this refers to the bulk or ang kabug-aton ka mga bandwidth nga ano sa Google, nagalabay sa Google. So Speedy, as our article says here, Speedy manipulates traffic and it improves web security at the same time load latency. How does Speedy do this? All of this, it achieves reduced latency through compression. So it compresses multiplexing sa multiplexing method sa inyong data communication, no? Naka-topic ka mo ka multiplexing and prioritization. So prioritization is just like your traffic light nga kung sino una, sino ang or ma-left turn so it directs the traffic within the network. So when you speak about network traffic, we refer to sa internet na. So Speedy does compression, multiplexing, and prioritization. And although this depends on the combination of network and website deployment conditions, the name Speedy is a trademark of Google and it is not an acronym. So Speedy comes primarily from Google itself. Okay, so that means that Speedy is one of the innovative feature that Google developed simultaneously karang pag ano nanda, pag ano ka kumpanya nanda. So the last one is Gemini. Gemini protocol is just an application layer internet communications protocol. This refers to the assessing or accessing remote documents and similarly to the HTTP, no, and Gopher. However, it is intended as the third alternative to those protocols. So after Gopher and Speedy, here comes your Gemini protocol. So it comes with a special document format commonly called GemText. So this allows linking to other documents. Um, it says here that your Gemini protocol is primarily functioning for manipulating textual content on your HTTP, guys. So it started by someone known as Solderpunk. It is a file, it's a alias, no? And the protocol is now being finalized collaboratively and it is not currently been submitted to the EI or the IEFT for standardization. So this is the standardized content for HTTP or IETF. However, Gemini is designed within the framework of the Internet Protocol Suite. Just like your HTTPS, Gemini function as the request response protocol in the client server model. So besides HTTP, these are the three primarily concocted similar protocol that is roaming around our internet space. Now for our activity number 28, you're going to refer to similar protocols. So Gopher, Speedy, and Gemini. So what you're going to do is you're going to research on its pros and cons, and you're going to produce the screenshot and copy paste it to your word processor. So I think it's easy, no? Our activity number 28 is just getting the pros and cons for the three similar protocols that we discussed. So for the our code of the day, guys, so our code of the day is what is the foundation of data communication for the World Wide Web, where hypertext documents include hyperlinks to another or to other resources that the user can easily access. So again, our code of the day is what is the foundation of data communication for the World Wide Web, where hypertext documents include hyperlinks to other resources that the user can easily access. So your code of the day, guys, will be activated tonight, and you can answer it until 10 p.m. So ad astra per sapientia, it means to the stars through knowledge. So thank you guys for attending our lecture this evening. So before we talk about our lessons or go back to the discussion on our activity, do you have a question for our topic for this evening? Okay, none. So going back, our topic for this evening is about HTTP and similar protocol. So I think You have an in-depth discussion on this on HTTP on your datacom subject, no? So we're not going to dwell on this, but these are the topics that you can encounter regarding our 410 subject, no? However, when you speak about HTTP and how are you going to secure your HTTP connection, securing an HTTP connection is a valid argument for using the protocol for HTTP. So, what is the importance of securing your HTTP connection? The important thing is your data will not be exposed to other third-party individuals on the internet. So take note, guys, that there's no such thing as free on the internet. So it is a given fact. In fact, when you are going to use Facebook and other social media accounts like Twitter and Facebook and other social media applications, you're giving up your freedom in such a way that all your data is being compiled by those individuals on the internet deploying the application. So for privacy, I think you're not experiencing any freedom on the internet. Much more with your mobile phones and other devices. So if you're going to give up your data, um, you will see on your when you're going to browse the internet for some time that many advertisements are being flooded on your devices. So not only sa laptop niyo, but also on your phone. So to secure your connections, you have to go back to HTTP because all of the layer protocol in the internet suite is being embedded by HTTP and similar protocols. So we're presenting HTTP or the topic for this. And the one way to find out if your HTTP is secured on the internet is if it is written in HTTPS. So if you encountered HTTP man gyapon yan na encryption, so there's no encryption there. And mainly if you encountered HTTPS on your URL, so it is secured already. So there are advantages actually and disadvantages of having locking down the encryption. The first thing is the convenience. So meaning to say, if you're going to type www dot something portal nga ginagamit nyo permi sa internet, ang ginatunan nyo permi. And then you will find out that when you're going to type it again, all of the suggestions are being put there because the AI on your Google or other browser or other content provider, they program the AI in such a way that pwede niya mapakot ang letters nga ginano ninyo dayan. So that is using AI already. And that is why while doing your everyday the footprint on the internet, when you're doing all your chores there every day, when you visited websites, there come a time that the AI will identify your behavior and then so pag ano mo pa lang daan no pag why mo pa gani masulat or naglantaw ka lang ka mga amo nga pictures or mga likes mo sa Facebook, pilang may advertisement ka dun sa Lazada kag sa Shopee. So hindi ka mo kada matingala guys no because securing your HTTP protocol on the internet is not easy. And there are other alternatives for this on how to secure. One of that is using a browser which does not record the all your activities. So if you want to go away, because Google uses AI mo, so you cannot escape. It is a Google pa lang dayan doon sa phone nyo, may Google man gyapon yung phone nyo. If you're going to avoid security risks for this, I think you should consider softwares or browsers nga ay nagagamit ka or gina-block ang activity ka Google. So one of that is using Brave browser, no? I recommend it, highly recommended. Please use web browser ang Brave browser instead of Google, no? Another one is Google Chrome. Um, Another one alternative, uh, if you're going to use the search engine, so you go to Google, no? So to avoid Google, you can use alternative nga search engine. One of that is your DuckDuckGo. So testingan nyo bala. Um, by using all of those things, I mean and other applications as well nga wala naga monitor ka inyong activity sa internet, you can do away with the tracking, no? So especially kung why na gid, if you're in a hurry and you don't have time to download DuckDuckGo or Brave browser, I think you need to uh, install an ad guard. So an ad guard is a software. You can have an ad guard also on the extension of your Google Chrome. Just search for the extension, no, and install it. What does it do is it blocks advertisements. So gina-block niya ang ads ang iban pa nga So less ads, more productivity. Amo lang da. You might wonder if you're using a China phone, mga uh, Realme, Vivo, not so much with Vivo, no, because I'm using a Vivo phone also. Daw talagsa lang ko gawa makakita ka ad sa na. Pero ang Android mismo nga dang embedded, kay ang Android is dang amo lang day pinaka core lang gid ka mga phones nga China phone. Pero nag-invento sanda ka anda nga skins. So ang skins nga day guys sa phones nyo gin-bombard nanda ka mga advertisements. So and anything that you browse, kung ano nga products ang mga nyo, ang mga gina-like nyo sa Facebook, makikita lang kamo ka Nike na sapatos, gin-like nyo doon. So pagka borbay, makita mo doon may Lazada doon nga advertisement nga may Nike nga baligya. So all of those things started with HTTP, no? And then there are other similar protocols that you can use alternative for HTTP. So tong tatlo nga tong gani kagina, tong Gemini, Gopro kag Speedy. So those things or those three similar protocols are doing the job for you in place of your HTTP. So those are just the hints. Wala na ko guys nag-discuss about some activity naton because our activity is very easy to do na ang duha ka activity. And if you wonder why, we actually transposed the activity from last year to because the reason for that is na-post ko in advance abi activity mo karang nagligad. Supposedly ang memo nga December 20 nga vacation pag 20 naman mismo nag-abot. So na-post ko na ang activity ninyo supposedly for the week nga tong 20 after dito ka bagyo. So however na why naman kita nag-discuss, 'di ba? Kag why naman kita nangalase. And so it seems that if you made your activity during those times, you don't need to do your activity now. But if you did not do your activity this last December, then you can pass it on this week. So that we can carry over sa The one reminder lang is your final exam will be on 19 and 20. So that's what we're preparing for. So we only have 2 more weeks or why na gani guro, no? Let me see sa calendar. So so we only have 1 week na lang nga topic and then we'll have the exam week already. So I'll be reminding you already of your activities. Please pass it on time, and so that I can compute your grades na sa ano ninyo. Anyway, since the forced use of our Google Classroom, automatically nag-compute naman itong daan. So, tanan ninyo, recitation, ang code of the day ninyo is for the recitation. Ang final exam naton nasa classroom naman, kag ang quizzes, no? Kag ang iban pa. So, automatic na compute ni classroom. So, no, there's no problem siguro, no? What you're going to, ano lang, is to accomplish the passing of your activities, assignments, and ano. Okay. So, I think that is all for this evening, guys. Should you have any questions? No more questions. And then this is the end of our discussion. So thank you for attending our class this evening. And thank you. What's this? I'll see you next meeting. Okay, so I'll be stopping now the recording.